Sunday evening, I'm leaving my office. We just got back from our vacation in New Orleans. I didn't have an opportunity to go hunt for anything. We were too busy doing family stuff over the 4th weekend. While we were there, though, I did find a guy on Facebook Marketplace that has a 1978 Les Paul, kind of a black beauty looking thing. Unfortunately, it has a Keller tremolo installed on it, and to do the installation on those old ones, they had to route the bridge and the tailpiece, kind of a square keyhole shaped thing, about the size of a pack of cigarettes. He's asking $1,075. He originally had $1,200 on it. I'm going to try to see if I can get it for less than $1,000. It'd be a really good deal at that price, even with that Keller on there. Even at the $1,075, I may end up getting it. Only thing wrong with it, really, other than that tremolo, is that the tuners were replaced with some Grovers at some point. So the marks from the original tuners are there, but I think you could swap out the originals still and make it look right. I left my truck at our parking garage at my work. I still have that red knob that I got the other day back here. I'll probably take that with me and go check out the guitar with that. Well, I didn't have time to film yesterday, but I got the Les Paul. Yesterday after we got into town, we went and got groceries, the dogs, waited a little bit, met the guy at his house out in Bedford at about 7 o'clock. It was even cooler than I thought it would be. The Keller did cause a rout, like I thought, which that's a bit of a bummer, but can deal with it. I did not get it for less than $1,000 like I wanted to, but it was his asking price, $1,075. What happened was something that I assumed would. A whole bunch of people had messaged him in the meantime, so I'm thankful that I was able to message him on Saturday night, and he went ahead and held it for me until Sunday. He said his justification was he wasn't going to be able to meet with anyone until when I was able to meet anyways, so he figured he might as well go with me, so I appreciate that. Came with a whole bunch of random parts that he had replaced. He made everything black, but it had most of the original parts. Like I said, the tuners have been switched
in 1,000 feet, turn right.
With some period correct Grovers. He switched out the bridge pickup. I haven't taken it apart. I'll eventually do a video taking it apart, but the bridge pickup isn't original. But I do have a T-top from that era. I need to measure it out, see if it's a neck or a bridge pickup, but if it is a bridge pickup, I definitely will be putting it in that guitar. I'll be on the hunt for the original tuners, or I may do some Clusins, I can't even remember what they're called, the like Imperials or something like that. Whatever the modern looking Clusins with the clear green tuning heads are. The Grovers that are on it, the tuning posts on it are like 2 inches long. I have no idea why they're so long, but they're longer than they need to be. Looks kind of weird. But it is an amazing guitar. Plays really well. I really like the maple neck. The Keller bridge, actually, he has it locked up and it keeps the guitar in tune really well. So it's kind of cool. I put the tremolo in and it seems to be kind of messed up. I need to take it apart, figure out what's wrong with it, and rebuild it. But I'm really happy with that price, $1,075. More and more I thought about it. I've been looking for a Les Paul for $1,000, a vintage Les Paul for around $1,000. I bought a 60s tribute, 2017 60s tribute, January, February 2018, and I got it at Guitar Center, and it was like, they called it a scratch indent, and for whatever reason there's a bump of lacquer on the base of the body, on the top. So that's the only thing wrong with it, and it's only $400, but I didn't really like it. I don't know if it was the mahogany neck, the pickups don't sound very good. It's got like a T90, I don't remember what the other pickup is, but it's whatever the standard pickups, and then it has the printed circuit board. and it just sounded kind of hollow. So I've been looking for something else for a while, and I wanted to get a vintage one because I just like vintage instruments better. But finding this guitar for that price is just incredible to me. I can't believe that we got it so cheap. I don't know the exact value. He had taken it to Tone Shop out in Addison, and they told him that it was worth between $1,400 to $1,500. So he had originally posted it on his personal Facebook page for $1,400, and apparently he's in a band called Ghoultown. He's actually a pretty cool dude, but he had a bunch of people on his Facebook page that follow him and his band, and they were all interested in it, but of course $1,400, no one wanted it at that price. And I don't think he was reaching out to the right market, and then so he listed it on Facebook Marketplace and lowered it, I think, to $1,200. Maybe he went 13 and then 12, but it had been listed for a couple days when I saw it, but he had just lowered it from 12 to 1075 when I caught it. And he said that 1075 was the magic number when he started getting a whole bunch of responses, which doesn't really surprise me. I think the fact that he listed it kind of on the 4th of July and over that weekend kind of slowed him down, and it wasn't until the end on Sunday when I picked it up yesterday, when people were starting to kind of settle down and get back to their lives and getting ready to go back to work and regular week. So they're looking on there, and all of a sudden there's a $1,000 vintage Gibson, and everyone missed it when it was, $1,200 or whatever, but they saw it at that cheaper price. So it just worked out, and I got really lucky. I'll probably keep it for quite a while. I have been buying up vintage guitars that I find at a good deal. My wife and I keep a savings account for our daughter, and I use the money in that savings account to buy these guitars, and the plan is to hold them for however long, and then once they either get to a price that we like or we need the money for something for her, we'll sell them, and we'll have the cash there. So got some pretty cool guitars doing it that way. She actually has kind of almost as good, if not better, collection going than me at this point, which is kind of ironic, but it's a cool way for me to get to have some neat guitars, my wife be alright with me spending probably more than she normally would be, and helping my daughter out at the same time. Here it is, 1978 Les Paul Standard. Still, I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of work to it to get it right. Gonna check out that pickup in a bit here, see what it is. Sounds decent. Something weird going on with the Keller. Here's the case that came with it. I thought this was really neat. This tag here is a replica of what Wells Fargo would put on the coffins that had the bodies that had bounties on them. So whenever someone would take one in and they were bringing it to wherever to get it verified, that is a replica of what would be on that casket that would go to the bank. This is the guy's band, Ghoultown. They're actually really good. I'll put a link of them so you can hear them, but they're thought they'd be a little more metal than they are. They're kind of more like a rockabilly, but darker rockabilly. So pretty cool. Over here, some of the parts that came with it. He had kind of blacked it out to go along with everything. There's still some original parts that I'm gonna take off and put back on. Here's the trim arm. It's not the original standard truss rod cover, but it's at least a Bell truss rod cover. The one that's on it right now is kind of a chromed out one, but I guess it stops where the nut's at, the nut lock, so I'm not real sure how that'll work. The trim arm goes right in here. Which is a little different than most trims, but I'm gonna have to take this tremolo apart
If you watch this, see how it's just floating around in there, moving around. It's unusable the way it is. There's no way to get it back to where it'll be in tune. So I need to take it apart, figure out what's going on with that. Hopefully get it rocking. If I do end up keeping it, I'm gonna get rid of that Yamaha case and I'll get a chainsaw case like I would have originally had. This is the Tribute, which I definitely am gonna sell. It's a 2017, like I said. It I think it was on clearance and on sale at Guitar Center right after Christmas. It was a stupid good deal. This case, I don't think this is the original case. It's two reasons I think that. One, it's not the right case for that year anyways. But also, when you see the guitar, you'll see that the factory, the birth picture or whatever they call it, isn't the same as the guitar. Then I don't think the serial number is the same either. I think that's for a 2016 model. So, you know how Guitar Center is. Someone may have stolen it. This may have been back there. Who knows? But this is the one that came with it, and it'll continue to stay with it. So, here it is. It's the Honey Burst. It's got the 490 T and R pickups. This will have the printed circuit board back behind. Nice looking guitar all around. I like the way it plays and feels. Just wasn't doing it for me. I didn't fall in love with it. Definitely didn't imprint with it like it was Becky or something. So I think the reason it was on sale, it's got two little nicks right there, which it came from the factory that way. I don't think that's a nick, or at least Guitar Center had it that way. There's one there, and then there's a weird like overspray for the lacquer there. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it wasn't in perfect condition when I bought it, but it's in good shape overall. I haven't gone out and thrashed on or anything. I haven't really played it that much, to be honest. I had it hanging where that one is and didn't have any issues. This Strat, the 79 anniversary, was heavy enough that it fell. The guitar holder actually gave way. It wasn't in the studs well enough. The screws that came with it weren't long enough and it was too heavy, so it pulled it down and it dropped. And it hit that. I didn't have the Vibrachamp there at the time. Went behind the Valvetronics. So anyways, the Les Paul's even heavier than that Strat. So I put it on there and put some pressure against the headstock, and it pulled it right out. So I had to get some 4-inch screws to hold it so that wouldn't fall out. I think with that Keller, that Les Paul probably weighs over 10 pounds. It is massive and thick, but it is a sweet guitar. Here's a better shot of the back of the headstock of this one in case you want to look at it. You can see the serial number is completely different. So I'm pretty certain this isn't the case that would have come with it, but it's a nice case regardless. Definitely the case that was coming with the Les Pauls from the year before, so better than nothing.